That's the indicator that we was looking for.
All right, so just for the record, Rashan Ali is going to teach us that the black man and black woman is Muslim by nature, right?
That's right.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. Like I said, a Muslim means submitting to the will of God. Islam means peace. As I heard someone says, it's something in us to worship a God or worship something superior, a supreme being. When you are doing what you're designed to do, what you are created to do. See, people hear the word Muslim and just put that on a person, a human. A Muslim it's not just a human. A Muslim, once again, by definition, is someone who's something that submits to the will of God. So, for instance, if the black man's nature is to worship or submit to a God, he don't know why he has to do it, or she don't know why she has to do it. It's something in her. If you take, black people or someone, take a baby, and you take that baby and put them in somewhere wild where the devil doesn't have no influence on it at all, he will start to do what the baby or the boy or girl would do what it's designed to do. You find out 20, 30 years later that his worship is something. Rather it's a statue, rather it's a spirit, rather it's a man, rather it's something, you find out it has some type of spirituality base that is worshiping, because that's their nature. A bee is created, it does what it's designed to do. A bee is a Muslim. The earth is a Muslim. The earth spins at 1,037 third miles per hour. It was created to do that. It was created to, and being that it does what it's created to do, which makes it a Muslim. God doesn't create anything to not submit to him. So anything that he creates it to submit to his will. That makes it a Muslim, or make you, or like I said, the earth or anything or any animal, a Muslim when it does what it's designed to do. Now, Islam means peace. No matter what we do, we try to find peace in our mind. Even people who, quote unquote, are selfish, who do things in selfish ways, and it's always me. They do things so at the end of the night, even based upon their wants, they want a certain level of peace in their mind when they go to sleep. They looking for, or everyone is looking for a level of peace. That's Islam. At the end of the day, we all work and try to do things to get to a certain level of peace. We only talking about terms. So now, Rondell yesterday said that these are new Arabic is a new language. Cool. Whatever the language is, whatever language that you speak, it doesn't. If you say Jubilah means submit to the will of Allah, then or God, then you're Jubilah. Whatever the term is to that definition, the definition is what I say that we are, or what we do naturally. And so when I say that the black man and woman is a Muslim by nature, I'm only saying that the black man and woman submits to the will of God by nature. The black man and woman is looking for a level of peace by nature. This is what we are designed to do. If y'all get what I'm saying.
Now, the brother did not want to touch on religion. That's fine. I am, because that's part of a religion. So we're going to do it all. Okay. It's a little history lesson. Islam was not on the scene prior to 451 CE. CE just means Common Era, or after Christ, after the birth of Christ. That means that after the year 2000, 451 years later, there was no such thing as Allah, no such thing as Islam, no such thing as Muslim. So nobody was Muslim, nobody was believing in Allah in those names, and nobody was worshiping the religion of Islam in that name. So that's fact, all right? As far as Africa, about 100 of the languages of Africa are widely used for inter-ethnic communications. And these languages that are used for inter-ethnic communication, to address the sister point which said about the Muslim that was black, that always speak that language, okay, inter-ethnic communication just simply, the language that was used for that was Arabic, was one of them. Somalia, Berber, Aramaic, Aroma, Swahili, Hausa, Igbo, Fulani, and Yoruba are spoken by tens of millions of people. Now, these are languages used for the inter-ethnic communication. Okay, so some of the most widely spoken Afro-Asiatic languages include Arabic, a Semitic language, and a recent arrival from West Asia. Excuse me? Arabic, a Semitic language, and a recent arrival from West Asia, like the sister said earlier. So, like, that's not even scholarly to use a baby language to define ancient things. That's amateur, amateurish. Language in Africa.
Same shit the Greeks did to Kemet. They renamed it.
Right. Exactly. Everybody, because now it's called Egypt now. And you see, Rashawn, the world rejects that word Egypt. Everybody go back to the Kemet. So that's just proof that the world history shows us people do not accept modern day terms at all for ancient event or ancient civilization. So nobody calls it Egypt. No Scott. Everybody even Caucasians call it Kemet. So they reject this modern term. Throughout the long multi-language history of the African continent, African languages have been subject to phenomena like language contact. So I'll read that over. Throughout the long multilingual history of the African continent, African languages have been subject to phenomena like language contact, language expansion, language shift, and language death. Does anybody know what language death means?
The language dies, like Latin.
Yeah. Like I said, you should take 20 more minutes. Language death is a process that affects speech communities where the level of linguistic competence that speakers possess of a given language variety is decreased, eventually resulting in no native or fluent speakers of the variety. Language death may affect any language, idiom, including dialects and languages. Case in point, it says the Arab expansion in the 7th century. 7th century is just like CE. It just means 700 years after, the Christ era, the Christian era. It says, so a case in point is the Arab expansion in the 7th century, which led to the extension of Arabic from its homeland in Asia into much of North Africa and the Horn of Africa. Okay, so put your phones on mute because somebody's moving around. Come throwing me off. But anyway, so we got that part. So not till 700 CE, like the brother said earlier. I think it was Steve. He said around 1800. So when I'm reading here, it says around the 1700s. All right, that's when the Arab language entered Africa. That's to answer the sister point earlier with the whole Mali thing, the whole Timbuktu. All right. After gaining independence, many African countries, in the search of national unity, selected one language, generally the former colonial language, to be used in government and education. Now, if you go back, sister, and go to that Timbuktu documentary, all you do is YouTube Timbuktu, and you'll see that the current language there, the current education system there, is Islam, is Arabic. They all Arabic brought the education. They taught them how to read and write. So it just said that they all, to gain independence, they all reverted back to their colonial language. Because there was no benefit. We talked about that a little earlier with the Zogan tribe. There was no benefit to speak your language because the jobs was by way of the Arabs. So if you can't speak Arabic, you're not going to work. Okay, however, in recent years, African countries have become increasingly supportive of maintaining linguistic diversity. Language policies that are being developed nowadays are mostly aimed at multi-languagelism. Okay? Afrikaans, not African, Afrikaans is Indo-European, as are the lexifiers of most African Creoles. Afrikaans is the only Indo-European language known to have developed in Africa. So now check this out. Because it did that, guess what? Thus, it is an African language. So you can't play semantics and call Arabic an African language because Africans speak it. Because here right now, the Indo-Europeans made up a language in Africa, and now it's an African language, by the books. So can't do that with me. And that's spoken throughout Southern Africa. Now, since Rashawn brought me up yesterday about what I said, I got to bring him up yesterday about what he said. It's only right. he said yesterday, because he showed parallels of similar practices in Kemet that they're doing now in current Islam in Arabia, or the Islamic culture. He said, see, it must be the same thing. So, see, they will practice Islam over there. They just called it A, B, and C. No. Dr. Wesley Muhammad, a scholar from the Nation of Islam, so he comes from the same theology of thought as Rashan do. All right? And Rashan respects this guy. He said that's parallelomania. So first I'm going to read the Wikipedia definition, then I'm going to read Dr. Wesley Muhammad's definition, which is a little more detailed and a little more angry. Okay, parallelomania refers to a phenomenon where authors perceive apparent similarities and construct parallels and analogies without historical basis. See, that's not scholarly to do that. I would never do that. Okay, so now, the Jewish scholar, Sandel, stated that simple observations of similarity between historical events are often less than valid. So that whole parallel thing, they said when people do that, that means they really have nothing. He said, but at times, it leads to a phenomenon where an author first noticed a supposed similarity. See, in Kemet, they're doing this, and Islam, they're doing this. That's a supposed similarity. Overdoses and analogy. Overdoses. You hear that word? Strong word. Overdoses on analogy, and then proceeds to describe source and derivation as if implying a literary connection flowing in an inevitable or predetermined direction.
Parallelomania. Parallelomania is a methodological fallacy in which it's the practice of overemphasizing supposed similarities between religious texts and traditions. Now, I've emphasized the remarkable similarities of Islam and Maya. That's not the problem here. And assuming a direct organic connection provided the parallels, the first mistake, because you see commonalities in the tradition, you assume that the commonalities result from a direct connection between one and the other, and then you go further in this fallacy, which is the case here. After assuming to have identified meaningful parallels, and I believe we have, and he has in his book, one then proceeds to describe source and derivation, suggesting that the connection flows in an inevitable or predetermined direction.
So first I'm going to read, the online definition. I'm going to read Dr. Wesley's scholarly academic, because he's a scholar. He's a historical scholar, he's a religious scholar, and he's a linguistic scholar. Okay, so this is big words here. So philology, defined, you guys can look up yourself, it's the study of language. Because the sister brother had on point when they said they was uncomfortable with Rashan naming an ancient, anything ancient, with a modern day language, which is scholarly prohibited. You can't do that at any education level. You'll fail the class, especially a linguistic class. You'll fail immediately because these are linguistic terms. Anyway, philology is the study of language in written historical sources. It is a combination of literacy criticism, history, and linguistics. It is more commonly defined as the study of literary texts and written records, the establishment of their authenticity and their original forms, and the determination of their meaning. So the definition is kind of, a little vague, but Dr. Wesley, you're going to clear it up for us. So,
philology demands that these texts be read in the light of the linguistic requirements, in the light of the grammar of the text. In terms of vocabulary, what does a word mean? Well, I don't care what you think it means. I'm not asking you. I'm not interested in what you say it means. What is the philological importance of that term? That means, what did it mean at the time it was written and immediately before it? Don't give me a 2011 definition of a 4,000-year-old word. Definitely certainly don't give me a 2011 English definition of a 1,000-year-old Arabic word or 4,000-year-old Hebrew word. Philology precludes all of that because it makes it all useless.
Look how he defines philology. Quote, he first says this. He says, what is the philological importance of that term? Right? He said, in other words, so in this case, it's going to be Muslim, because he said the black man and woman by nature is Muslim. So Dr. Muhammad is saying, what is the philological importance of that term Muslim? In other words, what did it mean at the time it was written and the meaning before it? So now let's go back to Kemet. So basically what he's saying is that at the time of Kemet, what did they call peace? What did they call God? What did they call submitting to the one creator 100%, 100%? So he said, what did that word mean at the time it was written and before, prior? So you don't count anything afterwards. It don't count. So anything that comes after any of those Kemetic words, you cannot use those at all to refer to those things that was before it. Okay, but he said, but you can use Kemet terms to describe things that came after it. So you guys all following? This is easy. This is light work. It says, don't give. So now he said this. He said, don't give. So sister and brother, this is going to your point. Dr. Betsy Muhammad said, don't give me a 2011 definition on a 4,000-year-old word. He said, definitely do not give me a 2,000 English Muslim definition of a 1,000-year-old word, 1,000-year-old Arabic word, or a 4,000-year-old Hebrew word. Philology preludes all of that because it makes it all useless. End quote. Hammer, but this in chess it's called overkill. So I'm gonna keep going. I can stop right now. But I'm gonna keep going. Okay. The question is, the reason why they can't accept this? Because the question remains: is there objectivity in religion? And what I mean is, does religion allow you to correct it? Does it allow you to white out stuff and write something over in there? Kind of what Islam did to Kemet by saying that that's, Islam isn't claiming Kemet or they're Muslims. That's called whiting out Kemet and writing in what they want there. But does Islam allow it to be whiting out? Because clearly we just read academically, you can't call an ancient term with a new word. That's, you got it. So the question is, does Islam? So let's go to religion now. We got Muslims on the phone. So now the question is, does Islam respect Kemet? Right? Because remember, we're all Muslims. I mean, the people of Kemet were Muslims. So does Islam respect Kemet? Let's see. In the Quran, Surah 7, that's chapter 7, 137. Let's read what this says. Watch this. Remember, the people of Kemet were Muslims. All right. Let's see. Yeah. Somebody hung up. That might be some Muslims. All right. Let's get here. Now, Surah 7, 137. Remember, the people of Kemet were Muslims according to Rashan's definition. Let's see what Allah got to say about that. He says, and we made the people who were deemed weak to inherit the eastern lands and the western ones which we had blessed. And the good word of thy Lord was fulfilled in the children of Israel because of their patience, and we destroyed what Pharaoh and his people have wrought and what they had built. So Allah just said he destroyed Pharaoh and the people of Kemet and what they built. What did they build? They built the pyramids. And right now, who's in control of the pyramids? Is it Caucasians? Is it Africans?
Arab Muslims.
Exactly. It's the people of the Quran, right? Now, according to this language of Allah, did he regard Pharaoh and the Kemetic people as Muslims in that language? Emphatically, no, but let's go on. 4 verses down, verse 141. And we delivered you from Pharaoh's people, who subjected you to severe torment, killing your sons and sparing your women, and therein was great trial. But Allah is speaking in reference of the Israelites. So Allah recognized the Israelites as worthy of salvation, or people submitting to God 100%. Because remember, he saved them from Pharaoh, right? But Allah spoke nothing in that context, or in that positive light, that regards to Pharaoh and the Kemetic community. Right? Okay. I'll read a couple more verses, and then I'll move on to something else. Okay, so Surah 852, because this is important about what the Quran thinks of the Kemetic community. Surah 852, in the manner of the people of Pharaoh and those before them, they disbelieved in Allah's messages. So Allah punished them for their sins. Surely Allah is strong, serving in requiting. So remember, the term Muslim by Rasham's definition means somebody who submits to Allah 100%. But in the Quran, Allah says Pharaoh disobeyed him. He disbelieved in him. The Egyptians didn't believe in him 100%. So Rasham got to prove to us tonight how the Muslims, how the Kemetic community in the Quran ever submitted to Allah to be worthy to be called a Muslim. Let's go further. Don't worry, I got a couple more verses. Like I say, he should took more time. In the manner of the people of Pharaoh, this is Surah 854. In the manner of the people of Pharaoh and those before them, they rejected the messages of their Lord. So we destroyed them for their sins. And we drowned Pharaoh's people, and they were all wrongdoers. So we're waiting for Pharaoh to submit and be a Muslim. Surah 1075. Then after them, we sent Moses and Aaron to Pharaoh and his chiefs with our signs. But they were arrogant, and they were a guilty people. So were they a Muslim people or guilty people? I know, exposure. Surah 1196 and 97 and 98, 99. Check this out. And certainly we sent Moses with our signs and a clear authority to Pharaoh and his chiefs, but they followed the bidding of Pharaoh, and Pharaoh's bidding was not right directing. So once again, he's not submitting. He will lead his people on the day of resurrection and bring them down to fire and evil, the place to which they are brought. And they are overtaken by a curse in this world, and on the day of resurrection, evil, the gift which shall be given. Allah just damned all of Kemet, the whole entire community, all of them. They're all going to hell. Couple more verses. Surah 17:102. He said, truly thou knowest that none of the Lord of the heavens and the earth has sent these as clear proofs, and surely I believe thee, O Pharaoh, to be lost. So did he believe Pharaoh to be a Muslim or to be lost? So Surah 20:48. And it's going to get a little worse for him. It has indeed been revealed to us that punishment will overtake him who rejects and turns away. 49. Pharaoh said, who is your Lord, O Moses? Are you kidding me? So Pharaoh never knew who Allah was, according to Allah. Pharaoh had to ask Moses, who's your Lord? Surah 20, verse 70. Like I said, he should have took a little more time. Surah 20, verse 70. So the enchanters fell down prostrate, saying, we believe in the Lord of Aaron and Moses. So they believe in the Lord of Aaron and Moses, which is Allah, right? Okay, let's see what Pharaoh believed in. Pharaoh said, you believe in him before I give you leave. Surely he is your chief, who taught you enchantment. So I shall cut off your hands and your feet on opposite sides, and I shall crucify you on the trunks of palm trees, and you shall certainly know which of us can give the severer and the more abiding chastisement. So how the hell did Pharaoh believe in Allah when he believed he was Allah? He's competing with him. He's saying, "What?" He said, "Oh, y'all worship Allah. I'm about to cut your arms off, and you're going to see who can give y'all worse punishment." Done right there. Hold on. Okay, so let's go further. Okay, let's go to. Okay, so now let's go to your notes over here. Real light. All right. Muslims are clearly anti-African. In the Quran, and according to Muslims' tradition, and the Hebrew tradition, and the Kemetic tradition, you are not to dig up the graves, the tombs of the dead. They are all resting in peace, even in Christian terms, because they believe in the resurrection of Christ, and they believe that they will be resurrected when Christ comes down, with the angels. So you are not. So it's unholy and disrespectful for anybody to dig up anybody, because of these belief systems. They believe that you rest in peace. All right. So now, when the Europeans came over there to pretty much dig up the bones and the people of Arabia, like, you know, the Arabian people, to try to, I guess, find out where Moses was laid out, Ishmael. The Islamic community threatened like jihad on the Europeans, basically. Like, yo, you're going to get through us, get into these bones. Horrible effect. Yeah. So the Arabic people preserved their tombs. But check this out. Like he said, everybody's Muslim. Well, let's see how the Arabs treated the Egyptians, so to speak. You know, let's see what happens. So now, when the Caucasians went to go dig up those bones, they had to get past the Arabs. The Arabs, knowing that was disrespectful for the Egyptian culture, remember they're Muslims like they're Muslims, allowed the Caucasians till this day to dig up these kings, these pharaohs, who are more ancient than the newborn Arabs, but they allowed them to go over there and dig up these bones, stir up their spirits, you know, stuff that they believed in, and it's supposed to be curses, so like that happening, and they robbed them of their gold, and then put them in, you know, display windows and stuff like that, where you can go look at them and Google them. Utmost disrespect. So as I clearly proven that linguistically you cannot call an ancient thing a modern term. That's bad linguistics. That's bad practice. Secondly, I showed that Allah did not regard the Egyptians or Pharaoh as Muslims ever in the Quran. Then thirdly, I showed how the Muslims took that hatred into real life. They that's what I said, real life. We reading stories, and they had practiced that same hatred by allowing the Caucasians to do the utmost disrespect to the committed people who are supposed to be Muslims. They let them dig them up. That's do you understand? That's the most disrespect you can do to a people, to a civilization, to dig up their kings and queens.
Mm-hmm.
I'm done.
Perfect. I'm glad you mentioned all that rundown.
Please, by all means.
Listen, and it's funny how you know that I'm a follower of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. But I'm not bound. Hold on, let me finish. I didn't interrupt you. I just need complete silence and just all ears. Listen, I'm not bound by the Quran. What we have is superior knowledge to what the Quran has. The Quran, I'm not bound by the Quran in no form or fashion at the end of the day. That's partial knowledge that you know that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught. But let's make this perfectly clear here. Number one, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that Islam is not a religion. Religion is something new that the Western world or Europeans use that created. So it's called divide and conquer. First of all, our ancient people, they didn't call themselves something different. They all was black. They was a human family. It wasn't that the Ethiopians went to Egypt and they looked at them something different. No, they looked at them as brothers and sisters. No, or they didn't go to China and looked at them different. No, they called them brothers and sisters. They didn't go to Japan and looked at them something different. No, they called them brothers and sisters. Once again, when I say Islam and when I say Muslim, please don't put that as a religion, because I'm not talking religion. I'm not talking any type of I'm not talking nothing religious here at the end of the day. This is a way of life at the end of the day. This is what we practice naturally, peace and submitting to the will of God. If you don't want to use the word Muslim, if you don't want to use the word Islam, it doesn't matter what language you is. I'm not going to allow language to divide. That's what we're doing. We're letting language divide us as like we doing something different. If I was born over here in the North Pole and then I meet an African brother, but we both submit to the will of God, does that make me less of a follower because I don't speak the language in Africa or the ancient language in Africa? No. I'm not allowing. What if I was deaf? What if I didn't know how to speak any language? What if I didn't know how to speak at all? What if I couldn't even hear you? So because I'm deaf, that makes me, but I submit to the will of God, that makes me less of a follower? No. Language does not have to do with nothing that I'm talking about right now. I'm talking about the action The action is what I'm saying. The language doesn't mean anything to me at the end of the day. The action, if our ancient people, because once again, them are people. It's nothing different. The Arabs, and not only that, you put Islam with the Arabs. The Arabs didn't bring Islam. The Arabs didn't start Islam. And then not only that, you mentioned Pharaoh in the Quran. You know the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that story in Bible and Quran never happened. There was no Jews and bondages in Egypt. There's no proof of that. So that's a story that was written as history when it was to us is something to come. So at the end of the day, I don't believe in that story. So you can't hold me or tie me to the Quran at all. I'm not that's only partial knowledge. What I'm dealing with is supreme knowledge. Number one, once again, I'm talking about the action. When I say that the earth is Muslim, I'm talking about it does what Allah, that I'm saying Allah, or whatever language that you say, or you speak, however you say God. What I'm saying is the earth does what it's designed to do. That makes it a Muslim, or however you say, submitting to the will of God in that language at the end of the day. So if you don't want to use these new terms or whatever, doesn't matter. I'm not playing semantics with people at the end of the day. I don't care about none of that. I'm only talking about the action. Whatever the action is what I'm saying that these people, like what I'm doing today, my ancient people in Egypt, my ancient people in Ethiopia, my ancient people in Japan, my ancient people in China, or wherever I go on an Asiatic planet, at the end of the day, are we all submitting to the will of God? That makes us Muslim in 2015 terms. However you want to look at that. If you don't want to say, English is a bastard language, cool. I don't care about that. I don't care about the semantics of that. If you want to say Arabic is a new language, cool. Language is not going to separate us from what we naturally do as a people. That's what I'm saying. Now, hold up. Someone said that they mentioned I got to touch these little topics. Women are gods. You look at the women as gods. Me too. I look at the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that the black woman is God. It's a goddess, I should say, at the end of the day. I look at the same thing. I look at the black men and women, the black man and woman is God. We are the mothers and fathers of the planet. We are God at the end of the day. Now, you said, what else? I wrote down a little bit of points. That's it. I just want to clear up.
All right.
Brother D said that our ancient people in Africa believed in the oneness of God. So does the followers of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. We believe in the oneness of God. So because we call that Islam, and then because we call that Islam, and our ancient people call it something, and remember, we're only talking about what it's called. We're not talking about the action. We're talking about what it's called. What it's called doesn't define the action at the end of the day. If we say, if our ancient people believe in the oneness of God, and we believe in the oneness of God, rather we say it's Islam, rather we say it's a door, rather we say it's curtains, I don't care. The action we both practice in our nature, what we are designed to do is my only point. Once again, what else? And then not only that, language does not have nothing to do with spirituality, once again. Like I said, if I was deaf and I didn't speak no language, does that make me less of a spiritual person? Does that make me, you're trying to combine me to a certain language? I'm not playing these semantic games with language. Once again, I never brought up language, and I haven't brought up religion at the end of the day. I'm just talking about what we are naturally to do. What else? We don't believe in this. Oh yeah, I said that. And then not only that, since you did bring up the Quran, people, if you Google, since you did bring up the Quran, just if you must know, let me get to it. Where I'm at, Surah 30, verse 30. Allah says, so, and this is what he's talking about, the action. So direct your face towards the religion, inclining to truth. Because remember, hold on, let me just finish reading. So direct your face towards the religion. They got that in parentheses. It really says, so direct your face towards the inclining to truth. Adhere to Allah, upon which He was created all people. Which He has created all people. No change should there be in the creation of Allah. That is the correct religion. But most of the people do not know. So in other words, he's saying that your nature, what you're designed to do, how He created all people, is your natural religion or your natural state at the end of the day. So He creates God, or whatever you want to call Him, God, Allah, Jehovah, whatever you believe, it doesn't matter. They create everything, or God creates everything to submit to His will. So the action is what I'm saying we all have as the black man and woman. And not just that, I said animals. I mentioned animals. I mentioned this earth. I mentioned the stars. I mentioned the universe. The whole 9 yards. Everything that when it does what it's designed to do, which means submitting to the will of God, that's a Muslim. I'm done.
Okay. Now, you said everything that submits to the will of a God means what it's designed to do submits to Allah. Can a Caucasian, according to your doctrine, can a Caucasian submit to Allah?
Well, first of all, the Caucasian can submit to the will of Allah by faith, but that's not his nature. The truth about that is this. Your nature, when you get to the sun, you're the natural person on the planet. The sun feeds you. The sun kills the Caucasian. He's not the natural person on the planet. His nature is not to submit to the God. That wasn't his design. He wasn't designed to submit to God. But at the end of the day, he's the unnatural person on the planet.
What was he designed to do? Because that's my next question. When he was created by...
Well, his design was to conquer the God. According to the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, his design is to conquer...
So he submitted.
God of righteous. No. I said his design was to conquer the God of righteous.
Right. So he did what he was created. My whole thing is Rashawn. He did what he was created to do. Just like the bee did what he was created to do. Just like the donkey. Just like the ant.
No. Hold on. Wait. Listen to what I said.
I heard you loud and clear. We all heard you.
Can I finish? The black man and woman is designed to submit to God. I said that the Caucasian is not
what about
designed
the
to listen. The design, the Caucasian is not to submit to the. Is not his nature is not to submit to the will of God. His nature is to conquer the God.
So how does bees submit to Allah?
Well, the bees submit by doing what it's naturally to do. Right,
and the Caucasian was naturally created to conquer God.
But he's the unnatural person to the planet.
Right, but he was created to do it.
So being him, the bees are the natural people, are the natural animals to the planet. Or everything that God's create is natural to the planet. The white man is an act, and that's called creation. The white man is not a created person. The white man is a made person.
Okay, let's move on. Okay, let's move on. And you said you're not going to play with language and you're going to use Muslim. So can I call you a Christian or a Mormon?
If that's the definition of, well, Christian is crystallizing the oneness of Christ. That's not.
No, that's not. No. That's bro. Christian means the anointed one. The holy one. That's what it means.
Wait. The anointed one.
It means holy.
I said the definition is submitting to the will of God.
Yeah, the Holy One submits.
That's the definition. Listen, that's the definition. I just went online. If everybody has their phone, you could go on Google right now, type in submit to the will of God, and whatever language, ancient language, whether you want to use Egyptian, whatever you want to do, it's going to show you how you say submit to the will of God. It doesn't say.
Let's move on. All right.
Hold on, wait. It doesn't say the anointed one.
You've been redundant.
Type in the word peace. however you say that in that language is what I'm saying. The action.
Okay. So let's go further. Now you said that you're not bound by the Quran, right?
No, I'm not bound by the Quran at all.
Okay. Now, but you just read from it to confirm what Allah describes as action. So when I read from the Quran, here we go.
Here you go. I only use the Quran because, and I said I wasn't going to use the Quran, but I said, being that you use the Quran right then and there, I said, all right, so I'm just going to show you how that contradicts each other. So my only point was it does contradict each other.
Okay.
At the end of the day, and I can show you contradictions in the Quran. I don't believe in and this is the point.
All right.
I don't believe in immaculate conception. The Quran and Bible talked about the immaculate conception.
All right. Okay, we got it. So let's move forward. So now you said Islam not a religion, right?
Islam is not a religion. It's the way of life.
Okay, stop. Okay, so now you're not bound by the Quran, right?
No, I'm not.
But are you bound by the message of the black man?
I'm bound by the most honorable Elijah Muhammad teachings, period. And
the message of the black man is one of them, right? Just for clarification, that's one of them, right?
Say that again?
And the message of the black man is a book that Elijah Muhammad wrote that you're bound by, right?
That's right.
Okay, let's read from it. Persecution follows the coming of God. Chapter 14, paragraph 5. Let's see what he calls religion. Allah chose for us Islam as a religion. He desires to set us in heaven at once on condition that we submit to him and accept the religion of Islam, the religion of God, his prophets. In this religion, Islam, he offers us universal friendship, and we who have submitted to him know this to be true. So he clearly recognized Islam as a religion. He said it about 4 times.
Of course, he recognized Islam as a religion.
But he said it wasn't.
Hold on, listen, can I finish? Also, he said that he don't like calling it a religion, but for argument's sake, because that's what the white man put it in a box of religion.
That's called semantics.
Listen, can I finish? Because he puts anything that you practice. If you start practicing and worshiping a iPhone, eventually they're gonna say that, that's their religion. They worship an iPhone. So because, not for the sake of arguments, at the end of the day, and that's what people call it. Your religion is Islam. We're not sitting here about to argue with the people about that all day long. That's semantics. So guess what? To save an argument, all right, this is what you say that we are. But we say that this is the best religion. Then this is the purest of all religions. Then, and that's why he said that Allah picked the religion. And once again, like you said, these is new terms. So if these is new terms, we updating to what's going on in these times at the end of the day. So they call it a religion. So we say that we have the best religion. We have the purest religion, the religion of God.
So, but why did you say it wasn't? Why did you say Islam wasn't religion then? If it is now.
No, listen what I just tried to say. It's a way of life. Before religion, the word religion was even created, I said this is what we practice this is what our nature was. But then time went on, they created a word religion, and at the end of the day, it's put in that box. So once again, for argument's sake, but we don't like calling it a religion. But at the end of the day, this is what the people are going to do. No matter what we like, y'all going to put it, that's a religion. Doesn't matter. So
I don't understand. Wait. Hold on, Seth. You get your turn. I just want to get a couple clarifications, then you guys can talk. I got 2 more. Now, Rashan, you said you don't believe. You said the story of Moses and Pharaoh wasn't true, right?
We don't believe in that as a story. We believe that was something to come.
Okay. So now, what about Prophet Muhammad? Was he real life? Did he live, or he something to come as well?
Prophet Muhammad is actually a real-life person who actually lived, and he died 630.
Okay, so now...
Moses is a real-life person. I just said that the story that they had with him is not real.
Oh, my God. Okay, so where's the real story of Moses and Pharaoh?
Oh, well, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, well, it ain't Pharaoh. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad has you can, everyone for $5, go on Amazon and purchase The True History of Moses.
All right. Who's calling my again?
Once again, you got to remember that a lot of our knowledge, let's make this person clear here, a lot of our knowledge has been corrupted by the Europeans. Even our ancient history has been, and they corrupted the pyramids. They went in there and destroyed a whole bunch of things. So when you go in there, you got to remember a lot of things been hidden. The proof of that is we start building airplanes, and we start building airplanes in our time. But what happened? Why didn't they have airplanes in Prophet Muhammad's time? But clearly the Egyptians had airplanes because they got it in the hieroglyphics. They had airplanes the whole 9 yards. But what happened to that knowledge? Why was that kept? A lot of things was kept a secret. So it took Allah to come to teach one in our conditions and give him the hidden knowledge that was hidden for thousands of years.
Okay, now let's see what Elijah Muhammad had to say about Moses and Adam and Pharaoh and all these guys. Let's see if he believes it's folklore or reality. This is Message to the Black Man, Chapter 6, The Coming of the Son of Man, the Great Matthew. Or this might be our Sarah's Rise, one of his books. But it says, the holy religious teachings of all the prophets from Adam to Muhammad. So he covered everybody. Now, this is Chapter 37, Islam. What is Islam? He says in paragraph 5, the former prophets from Adam to Muhammad. So he's comparing story guys to real guys. All right. Then in paragraph 7, he says Islam is the religion of Adam. So it's now still a religion. He said Islam is the religion of Adam, a fake guy who did not exist, a story guy. How can a story guy get a religion? But let me read on. He said Islam is the story of Adam, Noah, Moses, Jesus, and Muhammad, the last. Then he goes on in chapter 40 and said this. He says Islam, only true religion of God. Both Jews and Christians are guilty of setting up revivals to Allah God, Adam, and Eve, accepting that. So he believed in Adam and Eve as well. He said Adam and Eve accepted the guidance of the serpent instead of that of Allah. And he quoted Genesis chapter 3, verse 6. Now, real fast, I'll let you talk. I just want to say this real fast. Now, brother, straight ignored what Dr. Rich Muhammad and all scholars and anybody speak English. You can't say back door go. You got to say go to the back door. So we can't say the English language wherever we want. We got to respect the context and the syntax of language. You cannot refer philology, Dr. Rich Muhammad, Nation Islam guy. You cannot define something ancient by modern day time or modern day word. So now I said what I had to say. So Rashawn, you can say what you got to say. We're going to do the order in the group starting with Angela. But Rashawn, say what you're going to say first and we do with Angela.
All right. Once again, Rondell.
Yeah.
Once again, like the Bible says,
but it's fake though.
Listen. No, listen what I'm trying to say. The stories that you read is if these are supposed to be a book of prophecy, why is it only little prophecy and majority of history? Someone has tampered with the Bible and Quran. Well, not the Quran more so, but the Quran also. The way how that the white Arabs try to Arab-lize Islam and make it seem like it was their religion or something, which is all wrong. But that's another topic for a whole other time. At the end of the day, we believe in Adam, we believe in Moses, we believe in Abraham, we believe in Jesus, we believe in Noah and all the prophets and messengers of Allah at the end of the day. But we also understand that that was partial knowledge that you read in the Bible, that's partial knowledge that you read in the Quran. No, we don't believe the stories of Moses. No, we don't believe in the story of Jesus. We have our own. But once again, Rondell, that doesn't mean that we say those people never existed. I'm not going to sit here and say that those people never existed. At the end of the day, we just don't believe in those stories at the end of the day. But Elijah Muhammad just quoted the Adam and Eve story, receiving guidance from the serpent. So he quoted the actual story along with the figure. Once again, and we'll quote the story of, once again, most honorable Elijah Muhammad quote the story of Moses saying, let my people go. But once again, we don't believe that actually happened then. We say that a modern Moses is telling the government, the wicked government, which is the Pharaoh of this time, saying, let my people go. So once again, and then not only that, he's dealing with people, fresh slaves coming straight out of slavery who believe in the Bible, who took on these slave masters' religion, which is Christianity. So at the end of the day, he used the Bible, the truth that's in the Bible, the truth that's in the Bible. Not saying that the whole Bible is true, but the truth that's in the Bible, and he uses that because we know what the truth is, because he was taught by Allah personally.
We'll end up with you, and we'll go to the next topic. You have 5 minutes.
Okay. Hold on. Let me drink this little water.
Right. Yeah, whenever you're ready, just let me know, and I'll start the clock.
Okay. I'm ready now. Listen. First of all, he said that I shouldn't either believe the Quran is the truth or not. But first of all, like I said, we believe the truth that's in the Quran. And you say I can't take some and not. Well, I go to school. They teach you 2 + 2 is 4. I agree to that. They also teach me that Christopher Columbus discovered America. I don't agree with that. I believe in the truth in the education. I don't believe in the lies in the education. So I can take the truth and dismantle the rest. That's one. Once again, they said that this is the foundation of the Islam is what we use. We believe in the truth. We believe in that Islam is actually the right religion. You have to understand that. I could go into hadith, how Islam became corrupted based upon the Western world, the European. And I could go into hadiths, the whole 9 yards, how Prophet Muhammad bear witness to that, and then says that the Mahdi is going to come and restore Islam, which he did restore Islam. But that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother time. At the end of the day, one of the sisters, I think it was Tay, mentioned the Bible about Adam and the whole 9 yards. I grew up a Christian. What you said is emphatically incorrect about certain things. I don't think you got your own interpretation. Some things I just don't agree with. Second of all, the brother that was cursing, I don't know who that brother is. But you telling me about you lived in the Islamic country for 6 years. All right. First of all, and since we talking about Egypt, did y'all know that the president of Egypt, Nasser, he wanted at the time when the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad was on the scene, he wanted Elijah Muhammad to teach the Egyptians what he was teaching us over here. Number one, all this, everything, and the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad was respected widely in the Islamic world, period. You know what I mean? The only major fuss is the black Muslims over here in America who still want to follow or use guidance of the Arabs. So when they turn Muslim over here in America, they act like they shun the black Muslims of in the nation of Islam like they got something new. But the Arabs respect the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Minister Louis Farrakhan and Dr. Khalid and Malcolm X and all the ones that went over there. And when we go to pilgrimage, period, we is highly respected. That's another topic for a whole another time. At the end of the day, my black brothers and sisters, I'm not trying to force you to do anything. I'm not trying to force, Sister Angela, I'm not trying to force you to believe in anything. You don't have to believe what I know at the end of the day. That's not what I'm trying to say at all. I don't have my foot on anyone's neck trying to force them to believe anything. My only job, and to get the burden off me, is to teach the truth of what I know. And you can either accept it or reject it. That ain't going to make you less of a brother or sister than me at the end of the day. We have, and I think the number one thing is, we hold ourselves up and be dividing ourselves up from terms. We should not allow terms to divide us at the end of the day. And when I say that our nature is to submit to the will of the Creator or the will of God, that's actually a compliment to you. It's actually a compliment saying that you are a righteous person by nature. I'm saying that your nature is righteous. Our nature is righteous at the end of the day. It's not to bring you down, it's to bring you up. Anything to
1 minute left.
Black men, cool. Anything to bring the black man and woman up it's something positive to me, and if it could unite us, it's something that we should use as a method at the end of the day. I'm not trying to bring anyone down. I'm not trying to force anything upon anybody. People have their opinions on things. They say it, whether people going to believe it or not. That's still who you are. This is who I am, and I'm just saying that the black man and woman's nature is righteousness. That's the only thing. But I love the discussion. It was great. I think we should be all respectful and not curse, though, brother. You know what I mean? But I ain't sensitive, though. But it was funny to me. But, yeah, Rondell.
Yeah, I missed the curse part. Yeah, I missed the curse part. Maybe I had the phone out. Yeah, but we especially, we don't want to, like, with serious subjects like this, like dealing with faiths, you got to be considerate. I don't know who did it because I had the phone on mute and I was, eating. So
it doesn't matter who did it. I just said it for future.
Yeah, and I'm saying in general for future conversations, like especially something as serious as faith, because people, be killing over their faith. So be considerate of, the topic and discussion. Just kind of be considerate. But anyway, I just want to say two things, and then we're out. I'm not going to get the last word, so to speak, but I just want to say this: when somebody tell somebody what they are without any consideration of how they feel and what they research and what they conclude, especially when it ties to religion, that's called being dogmatic. That's called forcing it down your throat. If you had a gun, you'll use the gun. But since you don't have a gun, you just use it with rhetoric. You know what I mean? And also, that goes back to my original question. Does religion allow objectivity? In my personal opinion, no. Because I brought some facts. I brought the linguistics terms, what you can do, it can't do, linguistically speaking. And in spite of that, it was still used to coin terms that was ancient, new words. So I'm going to end the call, and we're going to spark it off